Bumbo clout, I go rocky bus them now. Rocky bus, rocky bus, rocky bus. How we gonna dance with them? Rocky bus, rocky bus, rocky bus, rocky bus, rocky bus. Rocky to the left and then you rocky to the right. Make sure everybody alright. How do we a party from there? We are.
Welcome to Crime Time News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The video that you just saw is a typical day in the life of public passenger vehicle, minibus, taximan. That is the way they act. It seems as if they think that they are in some sorts of a video game. What is even worse, every year 400, 500 people. What is even worse, these people sit down like when you carry some sorts of DOG. No disrespect to the people, but they realize that their life is in danger. They've seen all the news clips all over social media, in the news, in a real life. However, they just sit there and let these people endanger them life until, of course, they are either DEAD or in some sorts of critical situation. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, this morning, I check the schedule, get up very early, about 3 o'clock in the morning to catch the Olympic Games. Specifically, the Blue Ribbon event, which is the 100 meter, specifically the 100 meter for men, specifically Kishane Thompson. Now, people, truth be told, I cannot say that I was not nervous. I felt as if I was the one was running. However, because I have so much confidence and so much faith and so much hope in this youth, I expected him to do what he did, and people, yes, he did deliver. Needless to say, that race was not without any sorts of controversy. I think the guy from Great Britain, in pick start, and you know, so once you pick once, you are out. No second chances, you can run under protest. However, more than likely, once the computer, once the starting block, once the starter says that you are out, you are going to be wasting your time. So therefore, the race was a little bit delayed. When the race got off to a start, did not see the bullet start that I expected. Kishane got a decent start and he was out of the blocks, and by 50 meter, he pretty much shut it down. The time that was on the clock was 9.99 seconds, rounded off to 10 seconds flat. Easy win. I am not going to say that he was the fastest of all heats. However, he was the one that seemed more comfortable. As it pertains to the person that they were touting to be the fastest man on the earth, Noah Lyles, he came second in his race, and people, he looked very slouchy. Now, people, the sprint is a thing like this. Sometimes you might have a bad race. However, if I was to put my money, and I already put my money, well, if I was a betting man, on Kishane Thompson to win it all, based on what I saw, based on the fact that his last 3 races, he is averaging 9.81 seconds, which coincidentally is the fastest time personal best for Noah Lyles, which coincidentally is the same average that Usain Bolt had back in 2009, I think, don't quote me, when he broke the world record 9.58. Not going to say that Kishane is going to break the world record. However, I am expecting him to clock in about 9.6 something. Can he break the Olympic records? It is possible. However, I expect him to win that race, and I expect him to win that race easily. However, if he is mentally strong, if he does not get nervous, if he does not freeze up, all being well, the fastest man in the world being Kishane Thompson, 9.77 seconds. Noah Lyles, 9.81 seconds is personal best. For those of you that don't know about Kishane Thompson, he has been doing it, being fast from prep school, primary school, high school. However, when the pandemic hits, it kind of threw off his career, and then he got injured, and he is fully back, fully ready to take over the world. Now, people, this youth has a whole bunch of things riding for his career. If and when he wins, as I am expecting, he is going to get all sorts of endorsements I noticed that the TVJ News, they did some sorts of interview with the family, and I am not going to say the family looks as if they are struggling. They are okay. They are not rich. They are not people at the mid-range. However, if this youth wins, he is going to make so much money. The fact that he is a handsome youth, the fact that he has a structure, the fact that he is humble, the fact that he is a good youth overall. And people, needless to say, his fan base, mostly women, are going to love him. So therefore, he is going to be a draw for any sort of big company that is going to sign or endorse him. The sky is the limit. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is that we see that one of the co-defendants of Vybz Kartel that was also released with him, Sean Storm, he did some sorts of live. Well, this is his second live since they've been released out of the big yard, GP. In this live that he had, he said that he wants to big up the judges and thank the judges. For those of you that don't know, he was released by a panel of 3 judges, unanimous decision that there's not going to be any sort of retrial. The men are supposed to be released upon the paperwork done, no sorts of itchings. So people, I want you to take a listen, take a look at exactly what Sean Storm has to say, and then I am going to give my piece.
Coming free at last, glory to God. That is it. That's what I want to say. Are you hear me? Sip on alive, yeah? One big up the judge will deal with the appeal. You see me? One big her up. From me I step through the gate out of GP, me for big her up. You see me? Where Bishop McDonald, yeah man, and the other few judges them took out the 3 of them, but the lead one, I think now she the president for the appeal court. You see me? That judge they fear. Yeah man, I'm not talking merry-go-round and Ferris wheel, but you still feel happy like you there and fear the way you should fear. So yeah man, big her up. You see me? There Gaza nation, man, in emancipation.
So people, this is my disclaimer again. That judges are those judges, the panel of 3 judges' decision is not based. And if Vybz Kartel, Sean Storm and other co-defendants were guilty for the taking away of the life of Clive Lizard Williams. They made a decision based on protocols, based on violations, based on stuff that the judge, the prosecution should not have done, and even when they did it, they should have realized that it was going to come back and haunt them. One of the persons that I think that he should also big up on top of the judge, the new judges, the panel of 3 judges, is lawyer, and of course whoever finance these lawyers getting paid. Most significantly is Paula Llewellyn and the DPP's office. When we talk about a set of people that are great for fumbling the ball, and again, this is not a trial of Vybz Kartel and his co-defendants. That trial was held, appeal, Privy Council for retrial, and then we say there is no sort of retrial. I am just talking about the process of what goes on in Jamaica as it pertains to the DPP's office in fumbling all sorts of high-profile cases. In essence, indirectly, Sean Storm should also thank Paula Llewellyn and the DPP, because whatever the evidence was, just by their blunder, you guys are out scot-free. So therefore, it is not about if Clive Lizard Williams was taken out by you, Vybz Kartel and other co-defendant, co-conspirators. It was about a system that is no good, incompetent, and arrogance. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is that we see that the breadbasket capital of Jamaica, which happens to be St. Elizabeth, the farm communities are now farming a fool. There goes the neighborhood, the choppers, the smugglers are into town, and everything broke out like sore. I am speaking about an incident that occurred at about 3 p.m. on Friday, in which it is said a couple of gunmen armed with all sorts of tall up, A to the K, M to the 16, Ray to the T, invaded a home, a property in a place called Lohana Gardens. Now, people, I don't know if that is some sorts of uppity neighborhoods. Usually when you hear gardens, well, you have cherry gardens, uppity, and then you have Tivoli gardens, so it means diddly squats. Based on information, it is said that the persons were home at their property, at their house, when some people run in, kick off the door, put everybody flat, nobody move, nobody gets hurt, and that was true. It is said that they searched the premises, ransacked the people in place, dresser drawer, everything fling out. When they exited with the towel up in the ear, jumping at them vehicle, they also left with in excess of $2 million. Now, people like me say, the average family don't have $2 million in them house. So the question I have to ask is this: is this some sorts of businessman, businesswoman, family of business people? Is this some sorts of weed hustler, or is this some sorts of chopper? Because the truth and the fact is, yes, we've seen gunmen invade businesses, rob the people and put everybody flat on them face and then take for themselves. However, it is unusual when they invade some sorts of premises and then leave with in excess of $2 million. It tells you that there is some sort of inside source you do not have to guess and spell. Somebody tell them something, because when they came, they knew exactly what they were looking for. They came and they conquered and they left. Luckily, these people did not lose their life. However, if I was a homeowners, I would look at people that was there, because at the end of the day, I know that a lot of these gunmen, they are into all sorts of obia and gozo and all sorts of crystal ball. However, the fact that they went ready, armed with all sorts of tall-up rifle, told me that they knew something. They had inside information. They knew exactly what they went for, and that is what they did. They achieved their objective. Luckily for these people, them lose their money. However, them never lose them life. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, if there's any sorts of justification as to why Jamaica, a very murderous place, does not have emergency vehicle ambulance all over the place, would be if these criminals start to be more considerate and actually pie up their victims or take out their victims in close proximity of these places of recovery, meaning hospital. I am speaking about an incident that took place in close proximity of the KPH Kingston Public Hospital at about 1 p.m. a day or so ago. Based on information, it is said that a man was standing near an establishment of business when he was approached by a next man on foot. That man on foot, dipping him waist, wheel and pop off, blaze up a couple can. Right into this man, it is also said that the person who owns that establishment was also hit by stray SHOT. And we should not be surprised, because we've seen it all before. Whenever these maniacs go for anybody, it seems as if they are trigger happy, but they are also bummy. It is said that these persons were conveniently walked over to the KPH, which is just down the street a couple of blocks away, and they were admitted. Luckily, at this point, none of them lost their life. Moral of the story is this: nowhere is safe. But if you're in Jamaica and should get caught up, at least you are lucky if you're close to the vicinity of the hospital. Because the sad reality is this: most persons that get caught up in Jamaica, there is an absence of ambulance. if your friend don't have a vehicle, or if some sort of taximan or some sort of kind bystander is not able to take you, dog, I go eat your supper. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, there's a saying that goes something like this in a Jamaica. If them can't catch Quacker, them are going to catch him short. Even worse, if you live in the vicinity or the area of the enemy, you can also DIE with the enemy. This is a case in which a father and son had big plans to go to Dream Weekend. However, that Dream Weekend turned into their family's worst nightmare. I am speaking about a man, 56-year-old popular taxi driver known as Richard Nemard O.C. Richie. He plies the Whitehall routes. However, just before Emancipation Day, he was supposed to pick up his son that he has not seen in excess of 3 years. The son lives overseas. He was supposed to pick him up at the Norman Manley International Airport. He was excited, elated. It is even said that that day or the day before, when he knew that he was going to pick up his son because he have the taxi, he make sure say him get the taxi a proper cleansing. Seems as if he want to rub off all the color of the paint. However, it is said that on that morning, his usual routine, he gets up and leaves at about 4. Unfortunately for him, just about after 4, when he just left out at the intersection of Manningsville Road and Cassava Peace, some men or one individual roll up, blaze up some can in the vehicle while he was driving. He lost control, run and lick up in our next vehicle, lick up and tear down some sorts of stop sign and ran into some sorts of fast food establishments. Needless to say, this was a proper hit. He was found slumping over his steering wheel, DEAD like a nit. Based on residents, they said that they went to the house in which his lady live, his woman live. I call her out, however, them never see her. But then she got a phone call. You know, here, so them take her Richie. 2 toes, put her in her clothes, run go out there, find Richie slumped over. Now, people, here's the thing about Mr. Richie. This is not a man that have any sort of family member that are involved, well, at least to my knowledge. This is a man that is loved and respected by the youths in the neighborhood. This is a kind-hearted man. Him look out for people. If them hungry, him feed them. If them need some sort of drive, he would give them one on the house. So people are wonder, the people in the neighborhood are cry, everybody distraught, everybody kind of stressed out because them are saying, hold on a minute, what Mr. Richie could do to make him lose his life? Well, people, like I told you, the theme was, if them can't catch Quacker, them catch him short. Even worse, if you come from the enemy zone, you are also an equal opportunity target. Based on what the Popo are surmising, the motive of this might have been some sort of reprisal for some sort of takeaway that occurred in a Whitehall again, maybe 24 hours before Richie lost his life. So people, this just shows you the type of world that we live in as it pertains to Jamaica, wherein you can be involved in all sorts of criminal gang activity. And more than likely, if you live by the GUN, you also DIE by it. However, you also stand a great chance if you live a wholesome, legitimate life. Don't have any sort of family member involved. Just be or live at the wrong place at the wrong time and end up at the wrong place at the wrong time. End up in the wrong place, the afterlife. Such is the case, it seems, as it pertains to Richie, popular taximan. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.